Speaking of the tournament over in Copperhead at Valspro, this gentleman was over there earlier in the week talking to some of the pros, kind of working with them on their clubs. He is a club fitter.
Oh.
He fits clubs, which I think is really fascinating. I mean, first of all, how do you decide to be a club fitter? That's the first question. So welcome to the air, Bob VanSweden. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are we today?
Doing excellent. So now you were over at Copperhead this week with the pros and everything. What were the comments about this golf course? Because it was really, the golf course is winning.
Well, everybody really the players love Copperhead. Unfortunately, this was the year that they redid the course to try and bring it back to its original 1976 development that they did. And the greens are quite hard this year, so a lot of the players they're used to faster greens and the ball holding a little bit more. The ball's running off a lot, so they're complaining a little bit, especially in the tour trucks. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we were definitely hearing a lot of guys, going, "Wow, this course is not ready yet. It's still not mature enough for tour play."
So when they're in the trucks with you guys, that's kind of like Las Vegas. What happens in Vegas doesn't get elsewhere. So you guys, it's kind of like they can come in and they can moan and groan and bitch and everything else and know that nobody's really going to know who said what.
Yeah, no names will be divulged here on the show today. But, yeah, they come in and, you hear how the course is playing definitely from the players. You get the perspective because, we're like the pit crew. We're there to fine-tune and tweak, check lofts and lies, regrip the clubs if necessary, make equipment changes for them for the conditions of the course. So, we're an essential part of that player being able to play a golf course week in and week out on the tour.
So we're on the phone with Bob VanSweden. He's a club fitter. So, Bob, I got to ask, when I showed up at the steps of the University of Houston, I did not see the club fitting degree. So where and how how did you get in kind of where did your interest get piqued, and when did you think, hey, I can make a living doing this?
Well, I'm a former roadie. I used to do band security, and then I was a road manager for a lot of bands back in the 80s and early 90s. And I got really burned out being on the road all the time, and I met my wife, and I wanted to kind of settle down. And I had a great run. I did it for almost 10 years out on the road, working for, some pretty big bands at the time.
What were some of the bands?
I worked with Extreme, Bryan Adams. I worked with Def Leppard. I worked with Bon Jovi some. I worked I worked with a lot of bands. Mr. Quite a few acts back in the 80s and in the early 90s.
See, Mr. Little trivia. They're from Fremont, Nebraska.
Huh.
Cool. Yeah.
Yep. And I was in the 80s. I was doing Top 40 radio here in Houston, and I remember them guys coming through. And I was originally from Council Bluffs, Iowa, which is about 60 miles from Fremont, but just a little trivia there. So that's pretty fascinating. Nice. So now, club fitting. I mean, you go from rock and roll to club fitting. That's.
Well, I started playing a lot of golf because I had some time off. I saved up enough money. I really didn't have to work for 2 or 3 years if I didn't want to. If I watched my money, and I was pursuing my wife pretty heavily, and so I started hanging out in this little golf shop. And one day he was really busy in the back doing grips and stuff. And I said, "You know what? Go ahead and finish doing that. I'll talk to these people, keep them occupied for you." Next thing you know, I sold 2 sets of clubs to the husband and wife. It was fun. I wasn't dragging, groupies out of hotel rooms at 3:30 in the morning. So it was a better alternative for me.
Better hours too.
Yeah, and I've always been fascinated, with some kind of a job where it takes some skill and it's also an art. I mean, club fitting and club repair, it's an art form, to an extent. You have to really know what you're doing, and it's definitely a craft that you have to learn. So I've been at it for this February was my 24th year in business for myself. 25th year I've been in the golf industry. So I'm definitely not the new kid on the block, so to speak, doing this. I've had a great run, and I continue to do it, and I think I'm going to continue to do this into my late 70s if the dear Lord lets me.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, one of the things that perked our interest in getting you on the phone was you just got hired by John Daly to fit him for his clubs as he's getting ready to enter a whole new world of golf. In that he's going to debut here in Houston at the Insperity on the Tour of Champions.
Right. Yeah. So I've worked on and off with John for probably the last 8 years. He about 8 years ago he started to date a girl that lives down in this area, and so he decided to come down to Florida. And he's been hanging out in the Clearwater, St. Pete area for that time, on and off when he's not on tour or when he's not back home in Arkansas. So John came to me a couple of weeks ago and said, "Hey, bud, I need your help. I need to get some clubs built. I need to go start hitting them. I need to see what I'm going to probably play with when I get out there." And, he's very excited. He really feels that he's going to make an impact out there and be able to play and win. And I got to tell you guys, I've been watching him hit some, and he looks like the old John Daly when he's hitting. Man, he's hitting long, and he's putting really well right now. And we've tested out I've built 5 to 6 sets right now for him, and he's narrowing it down to to 2 sets right now. They're tailor-made sets. One is a PSI forged, and the other one is the RSI TP forged with the UST nunchuck shafts in them. And he really likes the way that they're feeling. He texted me yesterday morning at 5:30 going, "Hey, man, I need to come see you today. We got to tweak a few things." And I was booked up with a lot of fittings, but hopefully he's going to be showing up here in the next hour and a half, and we're going to do a little bit of loft and lie checks, and then I'm going to send them out to the range to look at the distances and see if they're right.
Cool. Now, I got to ask, as a club fitter, you work with any clubs?
Yeah, I mean, I when I got my start, I was refinishing wooden woods and laminated woods and pouring inserts, and so I started from the ground up that way. And the only thing I really don't do anymore is I don't refinish, or I don't have a spray booth anymore. So I spend a lot of that.
A spray booth does what?
Well, spray, like if you get you top a ball on top of your driver and you want to get it repainted, I don't do that kind of stuff anymore.
Gotcha.
So I ship it out to somebody.
How many do you have? Do you have a pretty good list of pros that come to you on a regular basis or are considered clients, I guess?
Yeah, well, I've worked with Brittany Lincecum on the LPGA Tour since she was 10 years old. Her dad brought her to me when she was 10 when she got started. I built her first set of golf clubs.
Wow.
I've worked with Jenny Gleason on the LPGA Tour. I've worked with Christy McPherson. I've worked with John, a couple of other guys on the that really never made it on tour, but were out on the web.com or nationwide tour. Back when it was the Nike Tour, I worked with a few guys. So we're not like Orlando or West Palm where everybody's living. If I lived in those two cities, I'd have way more pros coming to me than I do now. But occasionally I'll get some people that'll drive in from Orlando to have some work done by me as well.
Question for the amateur golfer. At what point in their passion for the game should they call a club fitter?
Well, they should call a club fitter immediately, because not everybody is going to fit into stock standard golf clubs. I mean, you might be 6'2" and need an inch over standard length. You want to start this game eliminating the process that the golf clubs are wrong for you. That's the first thing. So you want to always make sure you're fitted for clubs. You're going to have to make adjustments as you get better, but at least when you start playing golf, those clubs are actually fitted to you correctly.
Fascinating. Totally fascinating. Bob, pleasure having you on this morning. It's been fascinating talking to you. Good luck with John Daly. We'll be looking at his game here in a couple of weeks when he's in town for the Insperity Tour of Champions coming up to the Woodlands in the month of May. And all the best in your future adventures.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Great talking with you today. I hope to come on your show again at some time.
Definitely. You know what? We might even give you a call when Daly's in town and kind of see, hey, what do you think? You watch this on TV? How is he performing? And get some behind-the-scenes look at Daly's game.
I would love to do that with you guys.
And then the next time you have on, we'll talk get a little bit more into the rock and roll stories.
Well, some of those stories I can't tell, but we'll try and tell the clean stories.
There you go. Bob VanSweden from Professional Club Fitter over in the Florida area. Bob, go out and have a great day.
Thanks a lot, guys.
There you go. That was pretty cool. That's interesting.
Yeah.
What a career. He went from rock and roll groupie, tour guy, to club fitter.
That's crazy.
Fitter.
That's
you know?
crazy.